Welcome to the beautiful game. It is the second half of the show, and of course, we've talked about the FIFA Club World Cup. But now we are going to be talking about stories making the rounds, considering the transfers. FIFA Club World Cup, some transfers have gone there. Victor Osimhen is not going to be participating. That is not news. He could have gone to Al Hilal. Is it Al Ahly? Yeah, he could have gone to Saudi. But of course, my man is still in Europe. You know, of course, I said my man because he's Nigerian, and I'm Nigerian also, pro-Nigerian. So yes, let's talk about Victor Osimhen. He's been talking drama for the past 2 weeks. You know, he could have joined a team playing in the FIFA Club World Cup, but he has chosen to stay in Europe. And no move to Saudi to get the bag, no move to America whatsoever. Now, the dream is to stay in Europe. Where does he stay? Currently, he's a Napoli player. And Galatasaray is in the past. Who or what club would you be thinking Osimhen will be going? We've seen Saudi clubs ruled out. Liverpool are looking like, okay, they want to make something. But they still have to sell somebody to make that move. Darwin Núñez is still there. They still have Chiesa on their books. They still have Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo. So who would you think that Liverpool would be selling for Victor Osimhen?
I think I'll let Sam start.
So, it will be a nice move, but it's not realistic right now.
Why would you say so?
And that's because they are almost finishing the deal with Florian Wirtz, about 150 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would they be able to do 75 million almost immediately? And that doesn't really look likely, except maybe they get some players out. Maybe the most likely one is either Luis Diaz to Barcelona or Darwin Núñez. Yeah, I think Darwin Núñez is the man in the market. There's talk about Saudi clubs are looking for him. Yeah. But I don't see it will be a good move, but I don't see it as a realistic option right now. In fact, I don't really want to believe the rumor until I've seen it. I see it in some quarters. I've not seen it in some good quarters. But then,
so you don't think some people that have brought it out now are
I am happy about the fact that he is taking his football as a better option than going for the bag. If not, it should be in the Club World Cup, like you mentioned, with Al Hilal. The story was out there, how much they offered him and all of that. But then he still wants to remain in Europe, which I believe he should. In fact, he should be in the top 3 leagues. If he doesn't want to play in Italy again, then he should be either Spain,
Germany,
or England. I feel it
there was the time Juventus were going for him.
Yeah, but I think
Vlahovic, but
it looks like he's not going to. Maybe for whatever
the
reason,
ambitions,
he doesn't want to return back to Italy. Which will definitely be, because he's a cut hero with Napoli. It will not be nice to see him playing for Juventus, even though that's no problem with Italian. That's what I'm saying. Italian clubs, they really don't get. You can play for the top 3 side. There are players that have done that. You mentioned Zlatan. There's Pelu. There are players that play for the top 3 clubs, and no issue. But Chelsea needs a striker. I mean a proper striker. Arsenal needs a proper striker, but why are they not going for him? I think that some people would need to also look at when we're talking about a movie.
If you want to join the conversation, you can also call us on WhatsApp. Don't call normal call. The numbers will be displayed on your screen. WhatsApp call, and of course, that's when you can join the conversation. So, Sam, you mentioned that Arsenal need a striker. There's this man, Šeško. Yeah. I think Andre Beta is saying, okay, that's, of course, who he doesn't want. He wants Gyökeres, based on what we can see from the good quarters, yeah? But now, both of them, Gyökeres, Šeško, they are dragging on the floor. Victor Osimhen, you mentioned, is cheaper. But do you think that would be a perfect fit for Arsenal?
Oh, I think for me, Gyökeres is actually cheaper. Because
Osimhen is 75.
Gyökeres is 70. Because even though he's currently dragging with his president, and his agent has come out to say that they have
an agreement,
something on paper, a mutual understanding that it can go for 60 million euros and 10 add-ons. So, if I'm to choose who's supposed to play for Arsenal right now, for me it's going to be Gyökeres because he has the goals. He can be in the Portuguese league, but he has done it consistently for 2 seasons. This guy was in the championship.
Somebody
was
also in the Portuguese league. You know him, Darwin Núñez.
Okay,
because we see him like the Suarez that did not finish downloading.
He didn't even start downloading. Don't even let us go there. So, but I understand that Darwin Núñez did not work. But this guy, prior to going to the Portuguese league, he played in the championship and he scored goals. Yeah. So he has already known the English weather, even though he hasn't played in the Prem. So this is like a step up for him. Let him make it.
He played for Brighton, but that was for the under 21.
Yes, and he also scored a goal. For me, I think we don't want to talk about how Arsenal can play, how they can feed their strikers. Osimhen also fits that profile.
Yeah.
But right now, just like Sam said, why is there no club actually pushing to sign Victor Osimhen? Victor Osimhen has the numbers.
Yeah.
He just did 35 goals, right?
Yes.
With Galatasaray. I mean, when people were like, oh, why would you go to Turkey? Would you even live up to the standards? He has lived up and more. You understand? So this time, a bigger club should be pushing for him. Liverpool, they are mulling. Arsenal, they don't know where they lie. Chelsea, that actually needs a striker, are not pushing. Even Manchester United are not pushing.
At this point, because Arsenal look like they don't know what they are doing. They want to buy, they want to monitor.
But every other big team,
Chelsea are not willing to break their wage structure. You might see Chelsea paying 100 and something million, 50 something million for buy a player, but the wage is where the problem is. I did the research some time ago. Chelsea's highest earner is Rhys James, someone that barely plays, and he does not even earn up to £200 per week. Osimhen wants 245 after tax. So if you double it, because their tax is about 45% of your salary, so if you double it, that's over 400.
For me, Chelsea is not an option because look at the players on their current wage bill. They have to let off a lot. So the highest earner is actually Raheem Sterling. Don't forget.
No, I know if you take away Raheem Sterling, okay, just return back to the club.
Yes, but it's back on the wage bill, right? It's back on the books. So if they let some players go, then they can find space for Osimhen. Just like you said, it's all about the wages right now. So no big team is actually looking to match up to his wages. Even Galatasaray, if they want to retain him, they will still have to drop his wages. So I think it's about him now to make the decision. Where do you want to go? And are you willing to, do what it takes to play there? Okay. For me, there's nothing but staying with Galatasaray.
Our time is fast spent. Let's wrap up with Nico Williams. Lamine Yamal dropped a hint yesterday, posted both of them pictures together while at Spain on Instagram. And then there was a meeting between Nico Williams and Bayern Munich. 2 meetings. I think it didn't work out. Then he had one with FC Barcelona recently. So what do you make of that? Do you think Rafinha will move to the number 10 position if he comes?
It's definitely the big clubs want to have the best players, and Nico definitely is shown that. But can Barcelona afford him right now? That's the thing. They just, with Johan Garcia, they just do his release clause now, 25 million.
Yeah.
We know Barcelona needs to balance their books. And I don't think Nico Williams is the option they should be going for now. Just trying to not to go into recession again.
Well, be Nico Williams.
Be Nico
Williams or Ademola Lookman. Barcelona will be fine, but we have to go. We have to go regardless of it might be Nico Williams, it might be Ademola Lookman, but we have to go now because our time is fast spent. It's been a jolly ride. Thank you for coming. Fees Ogubanjo, and of course Sam Adeyemi. It's good to be back here, to be honest. And what do we have to do next is to say bye-bye. We're going to see you again.